Well, it's sad to know that Venom The Last Dance is going to be our last Venom film, at least with Tom Hardy. Who knows what Sony has planned, if they're going to try and revamp a Spider-Man universe, a new SPUMC. But for now, this is Tom Hardy's last Venom film. However, it is not the last time that we should see Venom, specifically Tom Hardy's Venom. And yes, of course, we are talking about the possibility of Tom Hardy's Venom showing up in Avengers Secret Wars. And recently there's been some rumblings of exactly how they might make this happen. And it looks like they might be going a very similar route with one of their post-credit scenes that we've actually seen before, specifically from Sony and specifically from Venom. Now, one thing that is a little bit confusing right now is the trailer for Venom The Last Dance. When they showed us the first official trailer for this film, they showed us one of the villains, Orwell Taylor, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, at the same bar that we saw in the post-credit scene for Venom Let There Be Carnage and the post-credit scene for Spider-Man Home, where the Venom symbiote was left over. Orwell Taylor was examining the symbiote at the bar, which didn't make a lot of sense because this was supposed to be in the MCU. This was supposed to be how in the MCU, Tom Holland's Peter Parker finally got the Venom symbiote. But all of a sudden, in the Venom The Last Dance trailer, we see Orwell Taylor supposedly in the Sony Venom universe looking at that exact symbiote. So a lot of people were confused by this. And also, by the way, if you haven't heard, the last trailer for Venom The Last Dance is coming on Thursday. This was announced by Sony themselves. So Venom fans, get ready for that last trailer on Thursday. And of course, we'll do a breakdown on it as well. And hopefully that will clear up a little bit more of the confusion. But there are some really interesting rumors about Venom The Last Dance going around right now, including talk about a new symbiote, talk about Knull, the symbiote creator / god. And like I mentioned, the post-credit scene, which will start off first. Now, this is not confirmed in any way, just to put that on the table. But like I've mentioned, we've been hearing kind of rumblings around the internet that the post-credit scene for The Last Dance will be fairly similar to the post-credit scene from Venom Let There Be Carnage and Spider-Man No Way Home. Many insiders have stated that although this is the last Venom film, this is not the last time that we're going to see Tom Hardy's Venom. And that makes you think, will he show up in the MCU or will he show up in another Sony project? Well, right now, Sony doesn't really have a grip on what they're doing. And as far as Spider-Man projects are concerned, the only thing they really have coming up is Kraven the Hunter, a film where, if you ask me, based off of what we've seen from the trailers, doesn't really have a place for Venom. It seems to be more of a grounded movie focused on violence more than anything, but a lot of it is very practical and is made to look very real, and it doesn't seem like there's a place for space aliens anywhere. And on that note, just another fun fact, Venom The Last Dance has been approved in China. It'll be releasing in China, and the reason I say that is because they love space aliens over there. So that is great news. That'll definitely help out Venom The Last Dance at the box office, which is great news for Tom Hardy. Hopefully this one goes out with a bang. But according to some rumors out there, the post-credit scene is going to set up Venom to appear in Avengers Secret Wars. This is something that we knew was in the works for a while now. It just makes sense to have Venom in Avengers Secret Wars. It would be a huge missed opportunity if we had a giant scene in Avengers Secret Wars where a lot of these different characters from a bunch of different universes were coming together. We have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, Robert Downey Jr., Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, a bunch of these different characters coming together, and then to not have Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom specifically, would just be a huge and total waste. And both studios apparently do know this, which is where these rumors are coming from, that they are indeed going to set it up for him to be able to appear in Secret Wars. Now, it is important to note that Marvel Studios and Sony do talk about what characters that they can use, and they specifically talk about what characters they can use for Secret Wars. These conversations have been confirmed to take place. In fact, thanks to the insider Cryptic HD Quality, whose track record is amazing, I don't think that they've really ever been wrong with any of their reports. And according to them, Marvel Studios met with Sony about using Spider-Man 2099 Miguel O'Hara in the MCU. But here's the kicker. It was specifically the Miguel O'Hara from the Into the Spider-Verse movies. According to the report, Marvel Studios wanted Spider-Man 2099 to kind of be on the same side as Kang. And if you recently saw, well, not recently, but the most recent Into the Spider-Verse film, Across the Spider-Verse, if you saw that, you could kind of see how Kang and Miguel O'Hara might work together. Kang, of course, would probably be tricking Spider-Man 2099, but that would have been really, really cool to see, that character coming over into the MCU in live action, working with who would have been the main villain at the time. Now, we heard what they said was, that's a big ask. And apparently, of course, it was a no because of that. Although I don't think the report specifically said they said no. They just said that that was a really big ask and probably not possible. But that means that they are open to other characters appearing, which is where Venom comes into play. Miguel O'Hara has a lot more story left with the Into the Spider-Verse movies. Beyond the Spider-Verse is hopefully coming next year. And if you took Miguel O'Hara out of that current story, put him in Secret Wars, put him back in the animated Into the Spider-Verse world, that would lead for some pretty weird continuity errors with the story that they are telling with the Into the Spider-Verse story. So we could see how that doesn't work. However, Venom's done. This is the last Venom film with Tom Hardy that they are doing. This is confirmed by the studio and everybody pretty much. So there really isn't much risk here unless they kill off Venom and Eddie, which the trailers are kind of leading us to believe that they will, but I don't think they will at all. So unless they do that, which again, I don't think they will, then the future is still open with Tom Hardy's Venom. And that is where the rumblings for the post-credit scene come in, that we're going to have sort of a multiverse post-credit scene where Venom and Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock, gets sucked into the MCU. Or at the very least, if they kind of undid the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home, they'll essentially do it again. In some way, shape, or form, the Venom symbiote or a piece of it will end up in the MCU. But I'm hoping Venom and Eddie simply end up in the MCU. And you have to imagine that in some way, shape, or form, they will address what happened. Now, it's Sony, so you never really know, but in the movies, Venom and Eddie went to a different universe and came back. But they learned about the other universe. They learned about Spider-Man. They learned about the Avengers, Iron Man, the Hulk. That is something that you don't just really forget. So what is believed to happen in the next Venom film is that it seems like right away, The Last Dance will kind of pick off right at the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage, because we've seen in the trailer and in the leaked set photos that Tom Hardy is wearing the same shirt that he was wearing in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home. So he goes to the MCU, learns all this stuff, and comes back, is super freaked out, but then The Last Dance events kick off. Symbiotes are looking for him, or well, Taylor's looking for him, so it becomes about, the immediate matters at hand. But after that is all over, he'll think back again to, wait a second, remember when we were in another universe? What was that about? And then that will set up how Venom goes to the MCU, whether that's at the end or in a post-credit scene, which many do believe it's in the post-credit scene, because after all, this is the last Venom film. What else would you make the post-credit scene about? You can either do a gag and make it funny, or you can set up something else in the future. And the only thing to really set up in the future here, since this is the last film, is Venom to go to the MCU, which is why a lot of people are talking about that now, and why it's actually a pretty big possibility, I'd say. Because again, we know, and the studios know, that it's going to be a pretty big missed opportunity if Venom doesn't show up in Avengers Secret Wars. Plus, Sony could make a little bit of money for that as well, allowing Venom to go in the MCU. So let me know what you think about the post-credit scene possibly kind of being the same as the ones that we've seen before. Then there's another rumor, and this is coming from MaxBlizz.com, that Knull will actually be in the movie. Knull was an eldritch god of darkness, and he is actually the one who created the symbiotes. Now, MaxBlizz.com hasn't really had a chance to be proven right or wrong about a lot of their recent reports because they're coming out very newly in the leak game, but in one of their articles they report, we can confirm that Knull, the symbiote god, will be the main villain in the film. He will send a symbiote army after Venom because he needs Venom to execute a secret master plan. Now, take this with a huge grain of salt, because we've also heard from some other insiders who state that they haven't heard anything about Knull. So this very well might not happen. But if you think about how this is the last Venom film, perhaps they're shooting their shot and they are indeed going to use Knull, considering they might not really get a shot to kind of do the storyline again. So just maybe this could happen. They did also report that the last trailer was going to be coming mid-September, which they were right about. Sony confirmed that the trailer's coming this Thursday. So perhaps they do have some reliable sources who are giving them this information. Now, they also have confirmed that Lasher, the symbiote Lasher, will be in the film. Not too long ago, we got a new international trailer for Venom The Last Dance that showed us a new symbiote. And according to MaxBlizz.com, this symbiote is Lasher, one of the symbiotes forcibly spawned by Venom by the Life Foundation. So according to them, that is who this symbiote is. And this symbiote will be yet another villain of the film. So a lot happening with Venom The Last Dance. The final trailer comes out Thursday, the movie comes out next month, and we might be seeing Knull, and the post-credit scene might show us Tom Hardy making his way to the MCU for real this time. Not like last time, at least hopefully not. So go ahead and let me know what you think about all of these rumors and reports in the comments down below, and let me know, are you excited for Venom The Last Dance? Are you going to see it or not? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you can stay up to date with Venom The Last Dance, the Sony Spider-Man universe, whatever that may be right now, and of course, the MCU. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.